happiness is to know the Savior, living a life within His favor, having a change in my behavior. Happiness is the Lord. Happiness is a new creation, Jesus and me in close relation, having a part in His salvation. Happiness is the Lord. Real joy is mine, no matter if the teardrops stop.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. We are here again to remind you that God loves you and is warning that His child, Jesus Christ, is coming the second time. He wants you to go with Him to His everlasting kingdom. But your going with Him will not be on a platter of gold. There's going to be a check on your performances in this earth, especially how you manage your home. Remember, every human being, whatever position is held, comes from a home. And that is why the home is very important in deciding who will be with Jesus Christ in His everlasting kingdom. Now, you, that woman there, that woman that is away from her husband, that woman who has traveled overseas or is in Nigeria somewhere, not with her husband, saying she's taking care of her grandchildren while your husband is still alive. Come and listen. I'm sure God is going to touch your heart and you are going to change for the better. The topic for today is taken from the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 4, which says, "An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones." An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. Now we have three words to consider there. What do we mean by crown? You know, crown is it's a cap that is worn on the head and is made with expensive gold or silver, whatever it is. It is something that it's a cap that is very expensive. And what do we mean by rottenness? You know, when you have a saw and you don't take care of it, after some time, the saw will go bad and something like mucus, yellow, will form inside. At times it will be smelling. You will not like to see it, you will not like to smell it. And then when we say excellent, that is the best, more than the best, higher than the best. Those are the three important words in this sentence that will come up. Now, who is a wife? We have often said it, that a wife is that person designed, that female designed by God to be the partner of Adam during the creation time. And who was that person? Eve. Eve represents the female, while Adam represents the male. So, and that is the wife God has given to Adam. You know, God is the one who started marriage. who established the marriage institution. Then, now, so the wife is the helper, as it is written in Genesis 2, verses 18 to 20. God created the wife as a helper to the man. Not only that, as a companion to the man. If you read it, you'll be able to see how it happens. That is a wife. Now, to talk on this topic, we have to look at the duties of the wife. God did not only give Adam a wife. God is an organized person. He gave each person the duties to perform. So, when he designed Eve as a helpmate and companion of Adam, in order not to be confusion in the home, he gave each one of them duties to perform. And those duties include submission of woman to husband, as you can see it in 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 5 to 6, that you should respect, the wife should respect the husband, should reference the husband, to give respect to husband in all aspects of life. That's another duty, and you can see this in the letter of Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 33. Then the wife is to love her husband, and the love is to pervade in all aspects of her life, in all aspects of her relationship with her husband. And you can see this in Titus chapter 2, verse 4. At the same time, the wife is expected to learn from the husband. The wife is not supposed to be the head over the husband, because the husband is naturally created as the head of the family. So it is the duty of the wife to learn from the husband. And you can see this in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 34 to 35. Then the wife must be trustworthy. She must be a woman that the husband can rely upon. A woman who says yes, and the other husband knows that the yes is yes. This could be found in Proverbs 31, verses 11 to 12. Then she must be a lover of children. It is when she loves her children that she takes care of them. So, it is the duty of the woman to love her children. And you can also see this in Titus 2, verse 4. Then the woman must be chaste. She must not be an adulterer. You can find this too in Titus chapter 2, verse 5. And she must be a homemaker. The woman who will take care of the husband, give him food at the right time, take care of the children, see that the home is in a serene situation, and everything is in place in the home. Those are the duties of the woman. A woman who performs all these duties as is laid down by God is referred to as an excellent wife. An excellent wife. Then what makes her excellent again? Then let us look at her relationship with her husband. Her relationship with her husband. Now, she's a woman who is not an adulterer. She gives all herself to her husband. In sexual matter, in everything, she's exclusively for her husband. That is a woman that is like a crown on the head of the husband. Then she must be satisfying. In bed, she must be satisfying. She must always answer to the feeling of her husband when he wants to have sexual relationship with her. And she must be ready to satisfy him. Make everything, her appearance alone. When she appears, she's to her appearance alone to be satisfying to the husband. She has clean hair. She wears clean clothes at all times. She keeps the kitchen very clean. She gives the correct food. She takes care of the bedroom. You know, then everything that she does must be satisfying. And when somebody does that type of thing, when the woman does that type of thing, you say she's a crown, because the husband looks at her as something that is very expensive, something that he cannot do without. Then she must be mutually agreeable. They must be agreeable in sex. You know, when God established the institution of marriage, part of the things that he said must be done is that sex must take place regularly. Regularly. He said regularly. And you must know that this sex is very important in marital life. You know, through sex, you are able to express your love and satisfaction in that love. So sex is not made solely for bearing of children. Even to make the couple happy and satisfying. And when the woman knows that she's not in the mood to have sex, she must agree with her husband. Not that she will be the person who will just decide no. When the husband says, well, no, I'm not going to have. No, I'm tired. I have headache. Don't you know? They're giving all sorts of excuses. That is not allowed. There should be mutual agreement. I am fasting. If a woman wants to go into fasting, I will not be able to have sex with her husband. She should discuss with him and they should agree. Immediately she finishes fasting, then they can have sex. That is mutual agreement. Whatever they want to do, there should be mutual agreement between them. Then she must be undefiled. When we say she must be undefiled, at least as much as possible, she must avoid what we call adultery. She must not be for another man. She must be for herself alone, for her husband alone. Now, those are the things that can make a woman, a wife, an excellent wife, and the crown of her husband, because in all ways she has satisfied the wishes of God. Now let us see some verses. Let's read some verses that will help us know that this woman is the crown of her husband. Now, when we look at Proverbs chapter 5, verses 15 to 17, it says, drink water from your own cistern and running water from your own well. Should your fountains be despised abroad, streams of water in the streets, let them be only your own and not for strangers with you. It must not be for strangers. When we talk of strangers, for another man, woman, only for your wife, not for the ordinary woman. It is only your wife that you should have sex with. And when you have sex with her, that is why the product of that sex is a blessed child. You have a child that is blessed from God. Now, let us go to rottenness. We have said that for something that is rotten, it's not something that is good to see, not something good to smell. It gives bad odor. Bad odor. And how does a woman or how does a wife become rotten in the bones of her husband? You know, God has set up what he wants when he established the marriage institution. He says there should be no divorce, there should be sex regularly, that they should love each other, they should reprocreate. But look, my dear sister, that you are listening to me, when you now say, take permission from your husband, that now that you are giving a grandchild, you want to go and take care of the grandchild just for some weeks or for some days, your husband gives you that chance. Tell those of you who travel overseas, it happens in the country, within the country too. But those of you who travel overseas, how else you take a visa for 6 months? And your husband agrees that you are coming back in 6 months. In 6 months' time. You know, it needs a lot of sacrifice for the husband to be without the wife. You now go and spend 1 year, some spend 2 years, spend 3 years without coming home. Telling the husband, disobeying the order of the husband, that their child still needs assistance. What of the husband you have left up to? So, when you do this type of thing, and you allow the man to commit adultery, because in the process, there are some men who cannot do without women. Some might do it decently by marrying another woman. Some will be taking in different types of women. You have allowed your husband to commit an offense which God really hates, and that is adultery. Don't you know you are a rotten egg? Don't you know you are rotting in the bones of your husband by allowing your husband to commit this serious offense? Your husband lacks care. You have forgotten the vows you made during your wedding, that you will be together when he's sick or when he's healthy, when he is rich or when he is poor. Now you have decided on flimsy excuse. A lot of rottenness is attached to this type of behavior. So, my dear sister, if you have decided your husband, please don't let him commit serious offense against God. Come back home. Come back home and come and take care of your husband. You are supposed to be a homemaker. So don't go away because of enjoyment and forsake your husband. And you know that when sin is committed, bad consequences follow. It is the same disobedience against God's instruction that Eve did that caused problems for the snake, for Eve, and for Adam, and for which we today, we are partakers of the punishment. God said, don't eat the part of the fruit that is in the garden. She ate it and even gave her husband. And thereby, got the wrath of God. Now, we also say you are rotting in the bones of your husband when you are quarrelsome. When your husband goes to work, the best thing for him to come home is to come and rest. But at times, there are some women who will quarrel with their neighbors, quarrel with people outside, quarrel where they are. So by the time the husband comes, every day, the wife will be in the police station. And he has to be there to go and settle. Every day, he has to settle the quarrel between his wife and their neighbors. And not only that, the man himself is always in hot soup because he has not got enough money to give you. You lock up his shirt in the morning when he's going to work and say he must not go because he has not given you food. And you know, when the man the moment the man leaves home, he's very happy because he feels free that at least for this period, I will be free from this woman. He finishes at 5 o'clock at place of work. Instead for him to come home, he goes to a drinking parlor and starts drinking and eating pepper soup. You are the one you have caused it. If you stop your quarreling, if he says a sentence, you are angry. Where do you show love? Where exactly do you show love? Remember, my dear sister, if you belong to that group of wives, know today that you are ashamed as rotting in the bones of your husband. You are rotting. You are like rottenness in his bones. You are just smelling. You are not making life comfortable for him. So, my dear listener, as you are hearing this, I appeal to you, please, message. We need this message for everybody. Tell the young ones who are going to marry. What of that old, even the old woman already in the matrimonial home? The husband has never enjoyed 1 year in their marital life. Look, you are like rottenness in his bone. You are like a sore in the leg that does not heal and is producing pus, which is smelling. If you are that type of woman, definitely you can't go with Jesus Christ when he comes to take his anointed. Today, you have to change your outlook. So, then there are some women, some wives who are the authorities in the home. You know, the man is created to be the head of the family. God has never, in any place, given the woman the authority to rule over the husband. Even it is written in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 11 to 15. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 11 to 15. It is written that First Timothy chapter 2, verses 11 to 15. Let a woman learn in silence with all submission. And I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over a man, but to be in silence. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman, being deceived, fell into transgression. Nevertheless, she will be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with self-control. So there is nowhere where God allowed the woman to lord it over the husband. So if you are 50 years old and you make the mistake of marrying a 35-year-old man, he is your husband. He's your husband, and you are not to lord it over him. So my dear listeners, once again, let us be careful. The matter of home is very important because everybody, whoever you are, one home. You are from one home. And that is why God takes matrimonial matters very seriously. I appeal to you, think about this message and make necessary amendments where it is necessary. Please share, follow, and like. At the same time, we are appealing for your assistance. Please subscribe and assist us. Thank you.
Happiness is to know the Savior living a life within His favor, having a change in my behavior. Happiness is the Lord. Happiness is a new creation, Jesus and me in close relation, having a part in His salvation. Happiness is the Lord.